almost 2 years ago, we did a video with Maggie talking about the most returned gun that she's really seen in quite a while. And by returned, I mean people that had purchased this gun but came in and said, I don't want this gun, I want to trade it for something else. And a vast majority of those guns, by far, was the Glock pistol. And a lot of question marks came up. Well, why are people returning the Glock pistol? Like, that's a great gun. It had nothing to do with the quality or accuracy or dependability. Let's start there. The reason that Glock was and still is, we're going to talk about why it still is, but the reason it was the most returned gun is because there was this giant influx in new gun owners starting in 2019. And a vast majority of those people got advice from loved ones and friends and family that said, you need to go buy a Glock. Glock is the only pistol you should look at. And if you talk to anybody that sold guns during that time, they'll tell you that that's right. Like, people come in and said, my Uncle Frank said, I gotta have a Glock. So they took this advice and they went out and they bought Glocks. But what they did not realize was, A, it doesn't have a manual safety, and B, it's a striker-fired trigger. So you have a very light trigger, light and crisp trigger that is also doesn't have a manual safety. And most people, well, everybody that pretty much owns Glocks and loves them is like, so what's the problem? Well, this is a problem, especially for new gun owners. Most new gun owners want something that they're not afraid to use. They want something that has either a long, heavy, double-action first pull like a revolver or a double-action, single-action gun. Or they want that manual safety. It's just kind of where they are in their carrying process. So when they realize that, they return it. And that's been the number one reason people have returned the Glock pistol, is that they say that they didn't know it would be like that and they just don't trust it. So by far, the vast majority of guns being returned right now are still Glocks. Now, when it comes to handguns, I would have thought that it would be the AR pistol because, well, for the obvious reasons. And people are like, oh, I don't want to own this gun. They're going to ban it soon. But no, it is still the Glock pistol. And it is for the same reasons. It's for people not understanding what it was before they purchased it. And a lot of this really revolves around the idea that it was the number one recommended gun. So of course it's the number one most returned gun. If people recommended some other gun, but that would be the most returned gun. So I think really it's not that there's a problem with the Glock pistol. The problem is people aren't taking the time to go research guns on their own and find out what's best for them. And I believe that if you were to ask 10 people, what kind of handgun do you recommend I get? 6 to 8 of them are probably going to say a Glock. And because of that, a vast majority of people that went out and bought new guns as new gun owners bought a Glock. And as a result, it's the most returned gun still. So there you go. Gosh, any insight you might have on that, or if there's any other reasons you might think of, definitely put that below. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that love Glocks that don't have any problems with them. There's a lot of people that don't like Glocks and have all sorts of problems with them. So don't say because they're terrible or because they're the best gun ever made, because neither one of those statements are true. But if you have insight into why they're getting returned at such a high volume, please put that below. I want to take a moment and, of course, thank ES Power Drink for not only supporting this channel and the Second Amendment, but supporting my health. I mean, there's Trinidad scorpion peppers in that drink, and I could put that down with a delicious drink and reap the benefits of that. I couldn't eat those on my own without my stomach exploding. That link is below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. Please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.